The secondary a person uses can say a lot about how the person is as a player. They can range from absolute tryhards to clueless players that have no idea what their gun even does. But as always, with all these stereotypes to go through, then I gotta give a quick disclaimer before we begin. These stereotypes do not apply to everyone. They have reasons for existing, but there are always exceptions. So, for example, if I say the HK416 is exclusively used by tryhards, that doesn't mean that you necessarily are one. It just means that that's what people automatically assume about you when they see you using the HK416. Understand? Are we good? Okay, good. So with all that said and done, then let's jump into it. So the M9 has two polar opposite stereotypes. First, you obviously have the new player. This guy just started playing Phantom Forces and has no idea what he's doing. Hell, he'll rarely even pull his secondary out because he just doesn't even realize he has one. The second one is the M9 main. This guy saw the laser capabilities and realized that, like the Magnum from Halo, the M9 is a very reliable secondary that can easily dispatch anyone at close range. And I'm not joking when I say this, any player above rank 100 worth their salt using this are gods.
Hey, person with a different voice here. The three possibilities for a G17 user are generally a 50 GI user, someone who's completely new to the game and has no idea what's going on, or someone from my channel. Once you unlock the stock on this thing, you eliminate the recoil problem, and you can now spam it at its maximum RPM. If you use this thing like I do, you most likely have carpal tunnel syndrome. There's a fourth group, but I don't like to talk about these people. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and say this unapologetically, this is better than the M9.
So this guy is either the new player who struggles to get kills with other pistols and needs the higher damage to actually be able to kill someone, or the M1911 simp who thinks it should make ragdolls do backflips when you get a headshot kill. Although on a rare occasion, you may also meet the dart conversion user, who will always spam its nerf for nothing in chat before every match. Now, people who use the Deagle can be put into two categories. Those who actually aim for headshots and the low-rank spammer. The low-rank spammer just kinda does this. But those Deagle users who actually aim can be downright terrifying. These people are most likely using the extended barrel as it's pretty much a direct upgrade from stock and most likely also have insane aiming skills. Seriously, these guys are pretty much just Stare Scout users but on a secondary instead. So there are two types of people who use the M45A1. First you have the I just unlocked this person. This person just unlocked this gun and probably uses this as an M1911 substitute. Then you have the guy who mains this pistol, who most likely also pre-bought hollow point and extended mag. This guy will try to use this at basically every opportunity and most likely won't stop using this because he's gotten so used to the two-shot kill style that he simply can't return to using other pistols. Okay, so I know I've been talking a lot about newer players, but this gun is almost exclusively used by them. The reason they use this is for one of two reasons. Either they thought they unlocked the Tech 9 only to realize this is the semi-auto version, or they're experiencing the classic new unlock syndrome where they feel obligated to use it just because it's their newest unlock. Oh, but there is a very rare second type of KG99 user, and that is the macro user. This guy is the one guy who swears the KG99 is a viable secondary, and granted it works pretty well when you use a macro to fully utilize the KG99's fire rate. This guy most likely also pre-bought and uses extended mag alongside full stock. On the topic of macro users, then these people are near guaranteed to be using a macro of a sort. These people probably pre-bought extended mag and will try to use this at basically every opportunity. Oh, and also these people usually rant in chat how underrated the 5.7 is and how everyone should be using it. You know, typical fanboy behavior. These people will also try and make their 5.7 all-purpose, like using its decent velocity and good headshot multiplier as a sort of DMR at long range, or even going LMG mode and combining it with armor piercing for over 2-stud penetration in close range. Ah, the Zip 22, Phantom Force's most famous meme gun. When topics about good guns arise, the Zip 22 is almost always the first joke on the table. Like when people think of bad guns in Phantom Forces, they think the Zip 22. It's reached the point where you almost can't avoid the Zip 22 when talking about this game. Anyways, let's actually talk in-game. So in-game, this gun is exclusively used by memers who have spent way more money on pro mags and rat shot conversions than a TF2 player has on cosmetics. Most of the time these guys will be using some sort of macro, but sometimes you may just meet the man who is over 1000 hours on Hypixel Skywars who just has insane movement and unbelievably fast clicking skills. Alright, yes, I know that this gun is Russian, so therefore you guys are expecting a Russian screen shake joke. But I want to seriously talk about this gun because there are a few more stereotypes to this other than the Soviets. So I'm gonna be honest, the majority of people who use the Makarov also use the extended mag and are kinda on the tryhard side. I mean, I can't fully blame them because anything with a drum mag in this game can be incredibly powerful. Just look at the Škorpion with rubber pellets or the AA-12. So if you see somebody using a Makarov who also has the extended mag, just know that they mean all business. So you'll only ever see GB22 users at two ranges, either the close range .50 AE GB user or the long range 10mm GB sniper. Both explain themselves really. The .50 AE tryhards will be running rampant around quickscoping anyone in a near instant. Oh, and these people also love to talk about how their gun is better than the Deagle XIX. Then you have the 10mm GB user. This guy is similar to pro Deagle L5 players, except he can now one-tap you from literally anywhere. Although this guy is probably also broke since he spent so much money getting all the necessary attachments for the long-range GB22 set. So there are three types of people who use the XIX. First you have the Deagle stands. These people love the Deagle, to the point where they ridicule any other pistol. Similar to other fanboys, these people will try and convince an entire server why the Deagles are literally God's gift to humanity and why you should feel bad for not using them. Then you have the generic copy-paste tryhards. These people, usually paired with an M16A3 or HK416, use the XIX and just run around sweating. Like most tryhards, these people can become extremely toxic when called out for the unhealthy sweat levels that they try so heavily to deny. Then you have the police barrel and police stock user who uses the XIX as a sniper, who has a 50-50 chance of being a memer or the one guy who actually uses this seriously. Oh, and of course lastly you have the CSGO player who only uses CSGO guns, and will usually complain about how much better CSGO is after dying more than 3 times. Alright, Gyrojet users are similar to the police stock and police barrel XIX user, where there's a 50-50 chance of this person being a memer who just loves the Gyrojet weapons, or the dude who actually uses this seriously. The memers are just, you know, memeing around, but the people who actually use this are a force to be reckoned with, as by this time, they've probably gotten a good understanding of the bullet speed and know how far and how high to aim ahead. So if you see a Gyrojet Mark I user who isn't just messing around, then try and move in a more unpredictable pattern, as like SL9 users, if you make them miss a lot of their shots, you're guaranteed to piss them off. So there are 3 types of people who use the Glock 18. First you have the new players. Like Tech 9 users, this person will most likely just use this as a panic weapon and therefore only ever pull it out after missing a shot with the commonly paired sniper. Then you have the Glock 18 mains who use the 33rd mag and Glock stock. These people have been using the Glock 18 for a long time and can single-handedly tear you and your entire team to shreds whenever he pulls this out of his pocket. And lastly you have the 50 cal Glock 18 users. These people most likely also have the 50 cal conversion on the Glock 17 and use them at their appropriate ranges. So depending on the map, you'll see this guy either in close range with the Glock 18 or at mid range with the Glock 17 trying to snipe you. Honestly, I barely even see people use this anymore. The only remains are new players who just unlocked this and maybe the few 93R mains who respectively still hold on to this. And honestly, it's a shame that not many people use this, as this thing's hyperburst can be pretty insane at times. Oh god, help, there's a spider on my mouse. Ah, oh cool, I killed everyone, but oh god, get it off! So the only time you'll see a person actually using the micro Uzi is with the Uzi fanboys. These people love the Uzis to death and will always complain about how the mini Uzi isn't in Phantom Forces yet, and how Stylus is just lazy because they didn't add another variant of his favorite gun into the game. There are a couple types of people who use the Škorpion, and to tell who you're dealing with, you need to look at what ammo they're using. If they're using the regular ammo, there's a 50-50 chance of this guy just unlocking it or being an absolute god. Seriously, stock ammo Škorpion users who haven't just unlocked it can be extremely hard to fight against. Then you have the 9x18 users, who are just your average Škorpion users with average skill levels. Next up are the rat shot users, who most likely are just memeing around with their bootleg AA-12 as they call it. Then you have the rubber pellets users, who fully main the Škorpion. As I said with the Makarov PM, anything with a drum mag is always going to end up being super busted, and this one is no exception. Seriously, these guys can almost be as terrifying as experienced Škorpion users who are using the stock ammo. And lastly, you have the Czech fanboys, who will always boast in chat how the Škorpion was made in their home country and that everyone should feel inferior to them. So the MP1911 is basically your pocket Chris Vector, and as with most Chris Vector mains, these guys will be using the 9mm conversion most of the time. Although if you meet a person who's using the stock ammo, then you better run and hide because you won't be killing this guy anytime soon.
The internals of an AK and the cartridge of an AR-15, the kick and capacity of an M231 and the range of an AS-Val. Taking the appearance of an edgy OC secret tactical weapon, this 22-inch cluster from a pistol grabs in just enough juice for it to be a functional weapon. Due to its extreme recoil, this weapon is seen as unusable by many players who will call it the worst machine pistol because my 0.05 TTK. However, there are a few players who do use this weapon. A large majority of them are extreme tryhards who main the TRG-42, and they will defend every stud of 3-shot kill and every .1 stud of wall pen that this weapon has. And they do have a point, because this weapon trades the recoil for great performance. Other than these players, this weapon is seen as unusable, and on the battlefield will be, to many, a weird, quirky, non-meta, high-rank gun.
Alright folks, that's all for this time. Now if you're confused as to why the video is ending so soon, then it's because I've decided to make this a two-part video. If you're wondering why, then it's because there are so many secondaries in this game, and covering them all in one video could be just a little much all at once. But anyways, next up is part 2 featuring the revolvers and the others, so make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss part 2 when it comes out. But yeah, that about does it for this time, so until next time, peace.